Welcome to Neuro Resource Hub. Today we'll be talking about easy ways to support your neurodivergent students in the classroom. I realize that not everyone may be familiar with the term neurodiversity or neurodivergent, so let's start there. Neurodiversity is really a shift, a way of thinking of our brains as having differences versus previously thinking of brains that are different as having deficits. So, this is really a positive shift in taking a look at all of the diagnoses um, that we may have been familiar with in the past. Diagnoses included in neurodiversity are listed here, but definitely aren't limited to these. It can include things like autism, dyspraxia, ADHD, Tourette syndrome, dyslexia, and many other things. This really makes us take a closer look at everyone as an individual. We all have brains, they are all different from one another. And so we're all going to experience the world in different ways and need different things to be successful within the classroom. Neurodiversity is a fairly new term that's been around for maybe the past 10 years or so, coined by Judy Singer. So don't feel bad if you're unaware of neurodiversity, neurodivergent students, all the terms that come along with it. I'll include a link for you to take a look at some of the terms and study up on your own time on neuroresourcehub.com. Maybe you're currently advocating for system wide positive change across your district. If you're not, get on it. And while you wait for your efforts to come to fruition, being persistent and patient, as it does take time, here are some immediate changes you can make within your classroom to better support your neurodivergent students. First and foremost, get to know your students. Get to know them as individuals, not for their deficits, not for what you may have heard other educators or faculty members say about them, but get to know them for who they are. What are their strengths? What are their personal interests? How do they learn best? Only when you build a quality foundation with your students can you truly support them. This involves some preparation, but I promise you it will be well worth it. One great tool that you can use with all of your students across the board, I have linked on neuroresourcehub.com, is the Know Me page. You may have heard of this page as the one pager or an About Me page. No matter what it's called, these are fabulous resources to utilize with all of your students, especially your younger students and ones that are not yet advocating for themselves. The Know Me page is filled out by a caregiver or the student themselves, if applicable. It is a great launching point for learning more about your students, getting down to what are their specific strengths, interests, what really works for them, and what do they have more difficulties with, or what isn't working for them. It's also a great launching point to start the conversation and help you come up with other questions that may not be on the sheet. Another great tool to utilize can be simple stories about social experiences, locations, things that your child will be experiencing within the school setting. Carol Gray coined the term social stories, which accurately describe context, skills, achievements, or concepts. I've included links to school social stories for you on neuroresourcehub.com. Personally, I think kids tend to pick up on social story context a bit easier when they are involved in them or when you're using pictures that have to do with their actual environment, setting, situations that they will be experiencing. So I highly encourage you to develop your own social stories if you have the time and the resources to do so. You could get snapshots of the child from their parents, maybe the child getting ready for school for the day with their backpack on. Maybe when they have a visit at the school, you can take some pictures of them in your classroom. And then definitely include pictures of the classroom environment, lunchroom, anywhere the child is going to be going throughout their day. Another great thing to add would be a snapshot of their daily schedule. And then you just want to encourage the family to be reviewing this story before school starts. Maybe even handing it out to them early in the summer so they can review it all summer long and just have that added preparation for that first day of school. While it's important for you to get to know your students, it's also very important for your students to have the opportunity to get to know you and to get to know their environment. I would highly recommend that you create those opportunities before school starts for them to come into the classroom, explore, start to build a nice relationship and foundation with you. Perhaps you can do this when you are initially setting up your room for the year, or if you have the time and the resources available to you, you can strategically plan some small group play sessions with some other students and get a small group together to explore within the classroom while you're setting up your room or doing other things. It's always better for a child to have a sense of comfort and understanding of what to expect when they are then thrown into a full day of school with multiple students, noises, activities, lots of things going on. If you're under a lot of time constraints before school starts, or say a child is just starting in the district halfway through the school, you could also help them prep for the classroom environment and what to expect by simply making a short video of the point of view of the student. This is really easy to do actually on an iPhone if you have it, and just using iMovie, which is a free app. You can record the videos of what it would look like when the child comes in for the day, hangs their backpack, walks around the room, maybe says hi to a friend, sits at a desk, just recording those things that they're going to do on a day to day basis. Maybe show them where the bathroom is in the video. It can be a short 5-minute under video clip, but that does help reduce anxiety and help the child or student become more comfortable with what's going to where they're going to be going to school. Setting up your classroom in a sensory sensitive way is really crucial to many students' success in the school setting. I know for myself, I experienced great test anxiety throughout my school career. And one thing that always helped me was I had one professor in particular that allowed me to wear headphones during class. This allowed me to reduce any sort of outside noise that I was taking in, people tapping their pencils, humming, shuffling of papers, any minute little noise, even the clock ticking on the wall, was a distraction to me and made it really difficult for me to take tests. So, being really aware of sensory sensitivities and then looking around your classroom and seeing what you can do to alter that is really just a wonderful thing you can do for any number of students. There are inexpensive and even free ways to do this, all the way up to insanely expensive gadgets and items that you can purchase through your district if you have the funds. So let's take a look at a few of them. Light covers can be used to block those nasty fluorescent lights from hurting people's eyes. Noise machines or quiet radio are a great way to block out extra sound. Alternative seating and chair tools are wonderful for individuals that get a little wiggly and fidgety. And calming corners are a definite must. Every room, every workplace, everywhere should have a place to
take a break, feel safe, comfortable, and reset yourself to be able to go back and be successful in whatever you are trying to do.
So now you have your classroom set up. You have gotten to know your students on an individual basis, and they are starting to get to know you. So let's dive into how do we best support our neurodivergent students within the classroom. I'd like to take a look at Dr. Armstrong's positive niche construction. This is establishing a favorable environment to help all students flourish and grow within the classroom setting. You can view or read more about this in his book, Neurodiversity in the Classroom. For now, we'll just touch on a few items.
The first component of positive niche construction is strength awareness.
This is still a new concept, and unfortunately, in the world of neurodiversity and the medical labels that we have on everything, a lot of services are deficit based. We do a lot of assessments that are made to figure out what is this child lacking, basically. How are they compared to other children? And do they have certain skills or not have certain skills? So it's kind of difficult to find strength based assessments online, but I have linked some of them for you on neuroresourcehub.com. So go ahead and check those out. With any assessments, you might have to get approval from your school district or whoever is running that type of thing there, but I highly encourage checking those out and seeing how they can be incorporated within your classroom.
So, we're really talking about a strength paradigm shift here. I think Epstein said it best when he talked about it, saying all students have strengths, and we can use those strengths to provide motivation. All students have the capacity to learn and demonstrate these strengths. And failure to demonstrate a particular skill doesn't indicate a deficit. Maybe they need more practice, or maybe they need the instructions delivered in a different way. When you're focusing on a child's strengths and using those strengths in education, that will lead them to developing other skills as well. IEPs should really be designed with this in mind.
The second component to positive niche construction is utilizing assistive technologies and universal design for learning methodologies. This is really important. You're going to have students that have a wide variety of strengths and also have a wide variety of challenges that go along with, what's going on with them as an individual. So you may have children or older students that don't yet speak or talk vocally, I should say, but have other forms of communication. You can help them even further by providing the technology and tools and resources to help along their communication. Things like augmented communication devices, um, picture exchange communication systems. There's a wide variety of things that are readily available. Again, more inexpensive things up to very expensive things like Proloquo to Go apps. Helping your students find an avenue to communicate with others is such an amazing part of what you get to do as an educator. There's so many different resources out there. You have to maybe do some digging to find out what's going to be the best thing for the student you're working with. But at the end of the day, the work you put into that is going to benefit that student throughout the rest of their life. Universal learning design consists of reducing the barriers that helps most, if not all, students succeed in the classroom with the use of text, graphics, digital books, enabling speech, incorporating those different tools that help students become more successful versus just slapping a piece of paper in front of them, their pencil, and asking them to do a worksheet. The next piece of positive niche construction is enhanced human resources. This is really building up a team of people surrounding a student to help support that student flourish, grow, feel loved, and safe. These individuals can include peers, speech language pathologists, occupational therapists, the teacher, um, other outside sources like a behavior analyst, other therapists that might collaborate with the school system, social workers, personal tutors, and academic coaches. There is a wide variety of individuals within the community and the school systems that can be useful and valuable to students. So it's really important to build up teams around each student, especially if there's extra needs there, just to help support, make sure there's multiple eyes on things, and bounce ideas off of each other, as well as help the individual just feel the love. One of my personal favorite concepts of positive niche construction in the classroom is implementation of strength based strategies. Now, how exactly do you do this? You've been given a curriculum, have tests and deadlines and assessments and things that you have to do within your district. But you should be able to make some alterations in the immediate future regarding each of your in class activities. Things can easily be done, like, say, a child has a wide imagination, really into the theatrical side of things. They have an assignment to do a book report. So instead of doing a stale book report in a Word document, you decide, okay, you can make a choice, whatever you feel comfortable with. If you want to do a Word document, great. You're great with words. That sounds good for you. And you, on the other hand, I think that you have such a vivid imagination. Maybe you could put this into a video. You could do some acting of book scenes, or maybe you want to write out. If someone's really good at drawing, they can do a storyboard, book review. It's really about making those minor tweaks to assignment boundaries that you can do right now. It doesn't cost anything to decide, hey, you can try this way or you can try this way. It's really not going to throw you off the course of getting tasks done or meeting that assessment score or deadline. You're just altering how someone is producing the same information, essentially. This makes class really interesting for your students and also really interesting for you as an educator, that you don't have to flip through 10, 20 book reviews. You can lay back and watch a movie and probably be entertained. Another component in positive niche construction is getting positive role models in front of your students, whether that be through video, Zoom calls, articles, any way that you can get that information out to your students of other individuals with similarities, maybe similar challenges, similar diagnoses, similar strengths and interests, any way that you can, subject them to multiple different people that may become someone they can aspire to work towards a career like them, or something to really look up to. More and more, a lot of celebrity type individuals are coming out talking about mental health and different diagnoses that they may have. So there's really a wide pool that you can pull from. Just do a Google search and see what you can come up with there. That kind of leads into another component of positive niche construction, which is the activation of affirmative career aspirations. You can use positive role models as a way to help them start thinking about career choices. You definitely want to take a look at each individual's strengths and interests and see how those kind of align with different career opportunities. For your older students, you can start getting them involved with college courses and do some community outings to start exploring different career avenues in the area. Mostly you just want to listen to your students, listen to what they're interested in. Don't shoot down any career aspirations one might have. Um, I can't tell you how many times I heard, wow, you want to be an actress? Whew, that's a tough field. It takes a thick skin. I mean, I heard any number of things, but luckily I had parents and a family that were very supportive and said, yeah, you're great at acting in your school plays, and you've loved that since a very early age. Go ahead, move out to California. We'll support you. I mean, maybe not everyone has that type of level of support, but I do think that they should. And you, as an educator, can do your very best to support individuals to follow their hopes and dreams and career aspirations and start getting them down the right path to really be able to do those things. And then the last component of positive niche construction is engineering the environment to support development and positive outcomes. We already touched on modifying and setting up your classroom. This is something that you'll want to take a look at throughout the course of your student's career with you in class, making sure that any adjustments are being made throughout the day that are best supporting them, dimming the lights, providing alternate seating, taking a step outdoors and having class outside. Oh my gosh, on a nice day, go for it. Get outside. It's going to benefit you and your students. I won't go too in depth with that as we covered most of it in the setting up your classroom portion. But I think the main point here is just to remember that even after you've had your classroom set up, altering your environment for your student doesn't go away. Make sure you're tuning into specific needs throughout the day. If you're seeing um, behaviors popping up that are out of the ordinary, or individuals are seeming like they're distressed, uncomfortable, don't just ignore those things. Make sure you're paying attention, maybe reducing the volume of your voice even at certain times, or helping that student find a quiet place in the classroom to take a break. The more you're attentive to your students' individual needs, the better off their school day is going to be, the better off your school day is going to be, and the more success and support and um, development you're going to see all around. I sincerely hope you have found this video to be helpful on your journey in supporting your neurodivergent students.